So we've, of course, been covering here the truly spectacular way in which the media has covered Tara Reade's allegations against Joe Biden. And Nicole Wallace had a moment that caught our eye. Now, of course, you'll recall we covered her previously incredibly cringy interview with Joe Biden. So you've seen that here. Here is her latest talking about the Tara Reade allegations.
Let me just say this, too, having once been a part of the Republican Party. The right isn't running an intellectually honest operation to get to the bottom of whether Tara Reade was victimized. The right is running a smear campaign against Joe Biden. The right wants to create some sort of equal playing field on which Donald Trump's more than 24 or nearly 24 accusers sort of have some company on the other side. The right is not running the same operation that the Democrats are running, which is to try to, as you just articulated, Andrea, have some consistency around statements that I think just about every elected Democrat has made.
Yes, a consistency. It's a right-wing smear campaign by the likes of Katie Halper and in reporters like Rich McHugh and Ryan Grimm, who Brian, of course, is the one who broke the Christine Blasey. It's just so ridiculous. And, you know, again, the gall of a woman who worked for an administration who smeared anyone who dissented from the Iraq war as unpatriotic.
Well, she knows
what
she's talking about
a real. You want to talk about a real smear campaign?
Yeah.
I know people's lives in D.C. who were ruined because they dared speak out against the Iraq war in the Republican Party in 2004. These people did anything they could.
People
in
still
order
get
to
smeared because if they dare dissent from the foreign policy consensus. I mean, let me grant her this.
Yeah.
She's right. Republicans, the Trump campaign, they're not honest actors here. Of course, they want to use this and weaponize it and muddy the water. Of course, absolutely that is the case. But to look at what Democrats are doing and be like, oh, but they're good faith actors here. They're trying to be consistent. Police, all these people who are out there, out front with Believe Women and Me Too and even Joe Biden himself. We have to believe the essence of what they say. Stacey Abrams, all these people. Kamala Harris. She really made a name for herself during those Brett Kavanaugh hearings, and now it's just I believe Joe. Rather than I believe women, it's I believe Joe. So to think, and this is where, you know, so much of the media is so dishonest. They have their team, and they don't see any flaw. These are the good guys. They're acting in good faith. They don't have any political motivations. They're just trying to search for the truth. Give me a break. Like, people see that is completely ridiculous. And to your point, to pretend like these allegations were like just created by the right as some smear tactic. Look, you all are the ones who put Joe Biden in place. You saw what was on the video, his track record in terms of his treatment of women. There were some of us who tried to warn you that this would be a problem if you're trying to run a like moral values, soul of the nation campaign against Donald Trump and your own closet is not clean, you're going to have problems. I mean, this was incredibly predictable. There are feminists who've talked about this too. Like, we tried to warn you that this was going to be an issue if you wanted to make a clear moral case against Donald Trump. But it was people like Nicole Wallace and MSNBC who propped up Joe, who anointed him, who made him the candidate, and now you're dealing with the fallout.
Yeah, I mean, she fawned all over him in that cringeworthy interview. And at the same time, look, I mean, this is a growing idea on the establishment left that, like, this is some sort of smear campaign. Lindy Lee, she is a delegate for the Joe Biden 2020 campaign. She's had a controversial past. She tweeted over the weekend that she wants the FBI to basically investigate Ryan Grimm and Katie Halper. She's saying...
And Nathan Robinson.
Yeah, and Nathan Robinson for their role in this, quote, fraud. Tara, or whatever your actual name is, you have gravely harmed real #MeToo survivors. Believe Biden, I believe Joe. Tara Reade is a liar. I mean, there it is. It's out in the open. Now, look, I'm not saying that this represents a mainstream view of the establishment Democratic Party or of Joe Biden, but actually, if you go on, I mean, I saw what's her name? Deborah Messing. She's like a actress, I guess. I didn't know who she was. But she tweeted out some like the Krasenstein brothers Medium.com article about some fake news on Tara Reade stealing money from a nonprofit. I mean, this is the depths of what these people have sank to. And once again, at the time, there were fringe right people saying this stuff about Christine Blasey Ford, and it should be condemned. But there were NBC News and New York Times, all these would be like, oh, look at this smear campaign against Christine Blasey Ford. Who's coming to Tara Reade's defense here? They don't care. They're hypocritical actors. All they care, power hungry people.
But Nicole Wallace told me they're just seeking the truth.
That is what kills me. Again, it's like we're talking a lot about George W. Bush today on the show. It's like the woman who ran point for George W. Bush in 2004 when the war was going, terribly, and smearing and selling this lie to Americans as thousands of Americans were died and maimed. That is what kills me.
Yes. And by the way, if we can Lindy ended up deleting this tweet because it did not go over particularly well. But if we can put it back up, it also disgusts me, this whole Tara or whatever your name actually is. She changed her name because she was a victim of domestic violence.
Right.
Like, how disgusting and gross do you have to be? And this was not just, by the way, Lindy, who's, sort of been the Biden campaign is trying to distance themselves as fast as possible. But there were Amanda Marcotte made sure to include in her piece that she had changed her name without offering any of the context around that, just to sort of make her seem sketchy and sleazy and like there was something weird and mysterious here. There's nothing mysterious about it. You could ask her about it if you wanted to. But no, as we know, for over a month, no one in TV news even wanted to talk to her, even wanted to put her to camera to interview her and vet her as they claim to want to.
And that's the real. And at the same time, Biden.
Maybe they're the ones who need to be investigated.
Yeah, right. At the same time, Biden is out here talking about a free press and all free press. Essentially, this is corporate media bootlicking. That's really what it is. Because, by the way, everybody loved this statement. Of course, like, oh my God, finally somebody running. It's because he stands up and for their interests. For people like Nicole Wallace, MSNBC, they want to go back to the days where they were the kings of the White House press briefing room and had all this backroom access into the White House under the Obama administration, and it was basically like a chummy old time. That's what they want. And that's what all this empty rhetoric, this is what it's all about. It's all about maintaining the circle of power. And MSNBC and CNN and everybody else who's working to protect Joe Biden from Tara Reade, this is what they're trying to protect, is their access to the grift inside the Biden administration.
He wants the kind of free press that'll go a month without asking him one single question on the allegations. And then before he actually gets asked about it, remember MSNBC sent out a press tweet so that people could know that this was going to happen, and they give him a heads up that we're going to ask you these questions. Do you think you would get treated that way? Do you think we would get treated that way? Do you think that anyone else gets that kind of heads up? We're going to ask you some tough questions about this. Come on. That's the kind of free press that he supports.
That's the free press he wants. All right.
More Rising for you after this.